100% property tax rebates and longer rental waivers were among measures announced to help businesses tied through the pandemic. To help those struggling with cash flow, $20 billion of loan capital will also be made available, making up nearly 40% of the total resilience budget. And among the industries most hard hit, the aviation sector has the biggest lifeline in the form of a $350 million support package. Brandon Tanoto tells us more.
Rental waivers were part of the relief package announced in the budget last month. But with the pandemic putting a drag on businesses, the government is stepping in to do more.
Where the cost is within the government's control, we'll do our best to help. I will therefore enhance the property tax rebates, which I announced in the Unity budget, by raising the amount and covering more types of properties.
Commercial properties like hotels, shops and restaurants hurt by the pandemic won't have to pay property tax this year. It's a major step up from the 15 to 30% rebate announced previously. Affected offices and industrial properties which weren't entitled to any rebates earlier will now get 30%.
I strongly urge landlords to fully pass on the rebates to tenants by reducing renters to directly ease the cash flow and cost pressures faced by tenants. Many businesses have pointed out that it will be a lose-lose situation if landlords do not support their tenants. After all, if tenants fail, the properties will be empty. So my message to landlords is, do your part, chip in, and give additional help to tenants who are more badly hit. The government will lead by example in supporting tenants by enhancing rental waivers. NEA will give storeholders in hawker centres managed by the National Environment Agency or NEA-appointed operators 3 months of rental waiver, up from 1 month announced in the Unity budget. Other government agencies like HDB and the National Arts Council will provide 2 months of rental waiver to eligible tenants, up from half a month announced in Unity budget. Beneficiaries include social service agencies and charities. All other non-residential tenants will receive half a month of rental waiver.
And to help SMEs get credit more easily, the Enterprise Financing Scheme's working capital loan will be enhanced for a year. The maximum loan will be nearly doubled. In addition, the temporary bridging loan program will be expanded to all sectors, previously only for tourism enterprises. The loan amounts have also gone up 5 times compared to Budget 2020. Subsidies for loan insurance have also been increased. The government is also making sure the hardest hit firms continue to have cash flow.
I'll set aside $20 billion of loan capital in this budget. This will help to support good companies with strong capabilities and catalyze private sector loan capital. As the situation is fluid, we'll seek to provide help where credit needs are more acute. Concurrently, MAS is working with banks and insurers to see how best to help businesses and individuals facing cash flow challenges with their loan obligations and insurance premium payments.
Plus, the government is also studying how it can provide relief from legal obligations that have arisen due to the pandemic.
For example, many people may have paid deposits for a big gathering that now cannot go ahead. It is not their fault that the gathering cannot go ahead. Should the deposits be simply forfeited? That won't be right. The government is studying the issue, and the Minister for Law will present a set of measures to deal with this at the next parliamentary sitting.
Sectors most affected by the pandemic, like aviation, will get more relief too. Mr. Heng says that's because connectivity is important to an open, globally connected economy like Singapore, linked by over 100 airlines to nearly 400 cities in 100 territories.
The Air Hub supports other economic sectors such as tourism, manufacturing and logistics, and anchors aerospace companies like Rolls-Royce and Airbus here. The Changi Air Hub is an important pillar of our economy. The hub and its adjacent industries contribute over 5% of Singapore's GDP and employ approximately 192,000 people. It makes us an ideal global Asia node where companies all over the world can access opportunities in Asia, and companies in Asia can access opportunities around the world. Our aviation sector has significant linkages to the rest of our economy. If it collapses in a crisis, it will be very hard for the aviation industries to rebuild after the crisis is over, and the recovery of the rest of the economy will be impeded. We must therefore ensure that this temporary shock to our air hub does not become a permanent one.
To do that, the government is pumping in $350 million more to give rebates for parking charges and rental relief for airlines, among others. For national carrier Singapore Airlines in particular, the government is ready to do more.
I've been informed that SIA is considering a corporate action supported by Temasek Holdings and will be making an announcement in due course. I welcome Temasek's decision to lend support to SIA. SIA is an outstanding airline and a strategic asset for Singapore. Through the government's support for the aviation sector, and if necessary, more direct support measures, we will make sure that SIA is able to come through this in good shape.
A slew of measures were also given to sectors significantly affected. For tourism, $90 million was set aside to fund things like training programs to prepare for a rebound. Meanwhile, around 40,000 taxi and private hire drivers will get $300 in relief for each vehicle every month. That's under an extended special relief fund costing the government $78 million. Also, ride-hailing operators will get license fee waivers for another 6 months and are encouraged to pass on these savings to drivers. For private bus owners, they'll get a 1-year road tax rebate and help with license fees. Meanwhile, the arts and culture sector will get $55 million more than the previous $2 million used to help upskill workers and keep jobs.